All right, so I think the stream thinking about things ready to go though. So hello everybody, Mecha ZardX here. Time. Oh gosh, I butchered that. Let's rewind the clock a little bit. Hello everybody, Mecha ZardX here. Back at it again to give y'all another very exciting podcast episode. That being my ZardCast episode 112. And oh goodness, we got quite a bit of stuff to talk about here tonight though. I said we. But my co-host Steven, I think he was just getting done with some kind of birthday party, some kind of party of some kind. He was meeting some family or whatever. He's gonna be running just a little bit late, so he'll be up here in the show in just a little bit though. But in the meantime, I'm holding down the fort like always until he does arrive though. But we are coming right off the heels of Tokyo Game Show, and there was some decent bit of stuff that was kind of showcased off, with that Japanese show that they like to hold around this September-ish time every year. We managed to also have a new state of play. There's been some Xbox price and stuff in terms of that raw Xbox Ally X, and it costs a little bit more money than what we were kind of thinking of in comparison to some of what would have been the quote-unquote leaks that we were supposed to be expecting from Best Buy leaked some stuff not too long ago and whatever. So we got to talk about some of that, and then a few other PlayStation, Xbox, and obviously Nintendo and stuff, because we did manage to finally get that update for Mario Kart World. But is it the update that everybody was wanting and necessarily expecting? That's what we're going to get up into today though. So yeah, a lot of good stuff to talk about. I even have a pop culture segment for the first time in 3 episodes that we could actually talk about. And yes, it is centered around Marvel and stuff like that though. So I get to play the funny clip for that as well though. So yeah, there should be a lot of good topics. I don't think this is going to be an extremely long episode, but somehow we'll probably hit the regular runtime and all of that mess though. So yeah, pretty good one tonight. And without any dilly-dally, we might as well go ahead and jump up in it though. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight on over into that pop culture segment. All right. I like how I played that, but the pop culture segment thing I wanted to talk about outside of, everything else is going crazy in the world as it stands right now, though, it is Marvel. So I do get to play this cool theme right here. Alrighty, so we have some kind of update in terms of Spider-Man Brave New Day, though it's not necessarily anything that probably anybody wanted to necessarily hear, because apparently Tom Holland got into some kind of little minor accident while they were shooting and filming this thing. And I like how not too many things is kind of leaking out about this movie. I mean, there's been some things you put two and two together. You can kind of figure out some of the plot lines a little bit, though. But obviously, when they got to shoot a lot of this stuff over there in New York, Steven neck of the woods and all of that stuff, occasionally people are going to see some stuff, hear about some stuff, though. But apparently, Tom Holland, I guess he was doing some kind of a stunt of some kind to where he actually suffered some kind of a head injury. So he had to actually get rushed off to the hospital, get all checked out, make sure, I guess, following what probably would have been a concussion protocol and things of that nature, though. And, they let him, chill out. They weren't going to continue filming for the next handful of days until he managed to recover, feel good, and he got all checked out and stuff. And then it seems like they're going to get him back up and going up on this thing now. And it's kind of crazy because I don't think in terms of most movies that are getting shot, I mean, yes, you do have your traditional stunt devils or whatever, though. They're the ones that kind of risk their own lives in terms of, being able to pull off these crazy, daring stunts, that Warner, all of that action stuff that we see in the movie and stuff. And the stuff that they do is pretty real at given times, though. The way how they got their stunts in comparison to certain vehicles, certain explosions and all of that. It's stuff that we probably don't necessarily take for granted too much unless you're just a really, buff movie guru or whatever, though, and you really do your digging behind the scenes, though. But given everything, Tom Holland is fine. Nothing's really bad has truly happened to him. It's not like the movie's on ice or nothing like that, so you don't have to worry about anything, though. But yeah, it is kind of odd. I mean, that's I think the only big major Marvel update I have for y'all. I mean, yes, there is technically two other things that I still need to talk about. One of them is, Ironheart, that whole series right there. I still have yet to get past episode 1. One of these days, I'll sit my butt down up on that couch or that chair, boot up Disney Plus, and finally sit down and watch it. I was really looking forward to that, but that first episode kind of put me off, for better or for worse. I'm still trying to contemplate around it with some of the ideas and some of the subjects they brought up in it to see if I can sit down and actually watch all of it. It's one of the few Disney Plus shows I hadn't managed to sit down and watch. Well, I say that, but then there's also that SpiderMan animated series. Gosh, I hadn't even attempted to watch that. I still need to sit down and watch that. And then now we have a whole new series that's just managed to pop up, Marvel Zombies. And that's currently out right now, just in time for the spooky season. And they've been doing their marketing and promotional material for it. I think it's like a 4-part series. I don't even actually know if all the episodes are actually up on Disney Plus right now. I mean, it may be. I'm not 100% sure, but I do want to talk about that show because I'm pretty sure that I'm actually pulling up Marvel Zombies right now. Okay, yeah. So no, all 4 episodes are currently available. They're all about 38, 34, 33, 32 minutes long each. And ideally, they wanted to have this as a movie, but I think because they want to include things like Spider-Man and all of that, I think they just kind of, they split it up into a Disney Plus series. That way they can kind of beat around some of those contracts and stuff that's kind of outlined with some of these characters. But we're going to save that topic for later because I'm definitely going to make a mission to make sure I watch this just in time for the spooky season for October. So we'll probably talk about it in the next episode, and I'll make sure to see if I can get Steven to watch it too, so we can kind of give our thoughts on that. Because I always like doing some spooky stuff during the month of October, just some kind of spooky elements, whether it be talking about scary games, scary things, old traditions and stuff. As we slowly kind of get closer to this, what's about to be the kickstart of the holiday season between October through December and stuff. So you do have some of that to look forward to. So I'll try to squeeze in this Marvel stuff wherever I can. And I think, the one last thing that we have Marvel related would be, I think it's Wonder Man. And I think that's supposed to air out some point in December, though. So we got a little bit of Marvel stuff before we finally managed to get to Brave New Day with Spider-Man, which is like summer of next year, though. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of all the Marvel stuff. So hopefully by next episode, we managed to go through and at least watch a handful of those episodes, and that way we can kind of go through and just talk about, anything else spooky related and anything else Marvel. So we'll try to keep this pop culture segment full here for y'all, though. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of the pop culture segment stuff. So now we move over to the next segment of the show, that being what we've been playing. Alrighty, so I felt like I've been going through and playing a few different things here lately. It hasn't been like a whole bunch of stuff, but I think I'm really in that season right before the onslaught of games that is to come for what will be the tail end of September that rolls all the way over into the month of October. And at least for now, I've just been biding my time because I think the most recent game I managed to finish up was Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. I think I might have mentioned this briefly in the last episode, like how I kind of started it up. But since then, I did manage to finish it. That's been a glorious game to play. And I will arguably say that that's probably going to be one of my front runners in terms of Game of the Year candidates. Because that Ninja Gaiden game, it hits on everything that an NES version of a Ninja Gaiden game would do, just in a modern day context, from this indie studio that happened to make it and partner with, the people that normally would be behind the scenes for all the Ninja Gaiden series games, though. So the Year of the Ninja, it hasn't been disappointing, because remember we had Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. I picked that one up, played it earlier this year. We had Ragebound during the summer. And here soon, next month, we're going to have Ninja Gaiden 4. So, yeah, I really love the heck out of Ragebound. and the difficulty was just right. Pull your hair out just a little bit going through and playing through some of the bosses. It does kind of frustrate you a little bit from time to time, though, but it's nothing that you couldn't, put your head together and, go at it, just a few more times. That way you kind of figure out, oh, you need to go about the boss one kind of way versus another kind of way. There are so many different moves, so many different ways that you can customize your character in the sense of like different weapons that you can actually equip to your person, and then the bouncing off between the dude versus the girl's play styles. I think that's something that they did quite well, because I know the girl can just throw out little oh gosh, what is it? Not necessarily shards, but like almost like throwing knives basically, though, which can kind of be a little OP, but she has a whole special meter, so it's not like you can abuse any of the powers that the woman character had, even though in some ways I feel like some of her stuff is better than the dude's, though, but they play a pretty good yin and yang off of each other. The story wasn't super deep, but it was nice and somewhat meaty, and it took me about 5 to 6-ish hours, I think, for me to beat it from start to finish, though. So yeah, if you're looking for just a good indie game that feels and plays like a beat 'em up game, but if you happen to be a fan of Ninja Gaiden, don't sleep out on this, because it's not a Ninja Gaiden 2 Black or a Ninja Gaiden 4 that's about to come out here soon. I'm telling you, this game is great, and it checks off all of the boxes I'm needing to want. And I think in terms of indie games, it's between this and what will be Men of the Hollower that comes out at the end of October are probably going to be some of my favorite games that are indie wise for this year, that probably be front runners for my overall game of the year conversation, though. So yeah, I did manage to wrap up with that. And I think since then, because I have all these other upcoming games that are about to come out, I hadn't really messed around with too many other games. I mean, I started to pick up Splatoon 3 once again, because while going through and playing Splatoon 3, the reason why I started picking it up again, because I really love myself some Splatoon 3, in case y'all don't happen to notice about me by now. There is that Splatoon 3 North American League that's currently going on right now. And I love the heck out of watching competitive Splatoon. I know some people like esports, some people necessarily don't. They just like to casually play some games and stuff like that. Maybe you get into the competitive scene just a little bit, though. I would honestly really love for me to actually get into competitive for anything Nintendo, whether it be maybe a little bit of Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, and Splatoon 3. Those are probably the 3 biggest hitters. They tried to do that attempt with ARMS, but it was fine for what it was, but it really didn't take off the way how they envisioned it. So I feel like with Nintendo, it's mostly Mario Kart, Smash, and Splatoon. And those are the ones that are also dealing with some of the kids and stuff in high school who happen to have esports teams and whatnot, though. But the fact that we have about almost like 10 to 11-ish or so weeks of just competitive action for Splatoon, that is extremely wild just to think about like that. That's almost like you sitting down and playing or watching like a sports team throughout their regular season for a college, like a college basketball season or a college football season, especially college football. It's basically the same length of time. I would love Nintendo to actually continually be able to do this every single year. And that way, we just get like a whole slew of competitive action now. It always kind of revs up my engine. It's like, oh, maybe I can roll up in here with a different weapon, such as like maybe like run back my carbon roller set, or maybe bring back my Octorush stuff whenever I see people going crazy, or with a Tri-Slosher, or a heavy edit, or a heavy Splatling. I mean, it's just really nice to be able to see that high competitive action and having all of these different great commentators from it. 90 Grains is really cool, though, but also Kent. That dude right there, he knows exactly what he's talking about in terms of, everything competitive and everything else in between those. I love hearing their talks about it, the way how they strategize, the way how they talk about their different comps and stuff, about having your frontliners, your backliners and stuff like that. I can keep going on and on about Splatoon. I wasn't meaning to try to go that deep up on it, though. But if you hadn't checked out the North American League that they're hosting basically every weekend, the Fridays they talk about the pre-show, or it's not necessarily a pre-show, but it's just a show where they just kind of talk about the stuff that happened the previous weekend and have maybe some kind of other fun activity or whatever, though. And then that Saturday, that's when they start live streaming like the top 8 teams that managed to get throughout the day. And then Sunday it's a little bit more casual, but you got your little bit of salmon run stuff from time to time though. So yeah, I probably would mention something about the season or something like that each and every time I have a new episode, probably leading, or new podcast episode, leading all the way up to the Grand Championships. I do kind of want to cover or just briefly talk about it from time to time. Honestly, because when you think about actual legit sports, you have people having their own little shows and stuff like that, talking about certain teams and whatever, though. So I don't know. I might just have a dedicated Splatoon segment just to bring up from time to time. If I happen to start seeing some things I really like about certain teams, or certain teams start to show up and show out quite a bit, though, because even in this last episode, the very that, oh gosh, I can't even talk anymore. I'm so sorry, y'all. Literally, in the past few matches that we had yesterday, I saw some wild stuff. I'm still going through the process of trying to finish out that whole entire Saturday live stream show, because there was a lot of stuff that they managed to go ahead and show off in there, because it's always like a 3 to 4 hour show or whatever those. But yeah, great stuff that I managed to see in some competitive Splatoon matches on Saturday. All right, I finally got my co-host Steven. He finally managed to pop up in here. How's it going, man?
It's going good. My computer is just giving me a slight issue. I'm trying to buff out, but I'm home.
Okay, I got you. Now, yeah, because you said that you were at some kind of party, right?
So I was at a birthday party. Yes, for my cousin. She's now 18. You know, you know how that is. Turning 18. It was a big. It was kind of a big party because they didn't do a sweet 16 or anything. So it wasn't necessarily, well, not necessarily big, but a couple decent amount of family came, and, I haven't seen my cousin in a while. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen my cousin in about 4 years, so I really wanted to, kind of reconnect. And I was, hanging out, and she got a Nintendo, kind of giving her some money to. I gave her an eShop card for it because I knew she was getting it. I
Okay.
got her an eShop card. I think she got Nintendo Switch Online. I was telling her about like the classic game lineup that you have access to and this and that. I was just helping her set that up, and then I kind of got home a little bit late, so here I am. Thank you for holding off a slight bit for me.
Oh yeah, it's no problem at all, man. Now the only thing you kind of missed was me doing my little Marvel spill segment. I did say, well, I talked about Tom Holland and his accent. And you probably already heard about all of that mess and all that mumbo jumbo, though. But I did
Yeah.
say, because of spooky season, we got to talk about some spooky stuff in October. I'll talk to you about it behind the scenes a little later, though. But we got to sit down and watch Marvel's Zombies, and then we'll talk about it in the next episode. At least the first 2 episodes, and then maybe we'll talk about the last 2 episodes in the episode following after that. That's our homework assignment, Steven. We got to watch those episodes.
Um. Well, I didn't watch the first two, so you're gonna have to educate me.
No, not for today. We got to watch. We got 2 weeks to
Oh,
watch those
next.
2 episodes for the next
Oh,
episode.
I gotcha. I misunderstood. I thought we were about to talk about the first two today.
Oh
All
no,
right,
no, no!
yeah,
I hadn't
that's
even
just making.
started it yet. I was waiting until October started. Then we were gonna watch. Then I was gonna watch it. But yeah, okay. But outside of that, I just wrapped up all of the stuff I was talking about in terms of games that I was going through playing. I talked about how Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, that's one of my front runners, and then I started talking about Splatoon, and then I started talking about the North American League and all that stuff. I probably will slowly recap that just a little bit here and there. Any cool stuff I see, probably in every episode moving forward until the end of the season, though. And that's pretty much the nutshell of everything you missed. So, Steven, what you been up to playing?
I have been playing a lot of stuff actually. Don't I'm surprised. Trust me. I recently, I think in between this podcast and the last podcast, I got my PS2. So I've been going back and revisiting a lot of franchises I never touched as a kid, including, but not limited to, God of War. I have I can't speak today. God damn it. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I'm definitely gonna play a bit of, and then I also have Burnout Revenge for the PS2, and then I just recently got God of War 2 delivered, and then I have Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 coming soon. But I have beaten God of War. God of War I have played and I have beaten the first game. And I really liked it. It felt like kind of a precursor to a lot of the action games that I've played since then.
Okay. Not too bad. Not
I
too
don't
bad.
I know you haven't played it. I don't know if you even played the new ones,
No, I
but
hadn't. No, there's been some Sony games I just hadn't even touched, whether it be old or new. The God of War series, never touched them. The Horizon series, never really touched that. And gosh dang it, I will never touch The Last of Us. I'm sorry, but no, I'm never going to touch that series. I really want to touch Uncharted, because Uncharted seems like a game series I probably would like. I just hadn't sat down and really messed with it.
God of War is a little violent and it definitely shows some sexual content in it, but it's a fun game. I personally think you might enjoy it, putting aside like the overtly violent stuff. But you like Doom, so like, you don't have a problem with overtly
I mean,
violent
yeah, it
stuff.
doesn't really get much crazier than I don't really have an issue with violent stuff, to be honest, because I play
Yeah,
Doom and stuff like that.
I'm sure you
So
don't care if the game shows a tit or not, because it shows a tit once in a while. Don't
mm.
stream this game.
Okay.
I honestly, I genuinely wonder if like the new versions of this game have a toggle because there's a lot of it actually in cutscenes.
Hmm.
Because it's like Greek mythology. Like in Greek mythology, like it was more of a common thing. Why do you think all those statues got the ween hanging out?
Yeah. I mean, you got a
Either
point.
either way though, it's a really fun game, and I was very intrigued by the story of Kratos. Just his story is a very interesting uh, tale, and I'm very excited to play the next one. In terms of other games, I started Pac-Man World 2 Repack. I like it a decent amount. I know a lot of people grew up with that game. Apparently, it was a lot of people's nostalgia baby game. And you know what? I'm liking it so far. It seems just like a good, solid platformer for its time. I'm having fun. Um, yeah, I'm only like maybe 2 hours into it, but I've been taking my time. It's very similar to Crash Bandicoot. With Crash Bandicoot, you have the main levels, and then all of the collectibles. Or sometimes it will be break all the boxes, sometimes it will be this, sometimes it will be that. So it kind of shuffles around the objectives each level. But the time trials, which I don't know if they're a new thing for the game or if they were in the original, the time trials are quite literally Crash Bandicoot, where they scatter these boxes around the level that give you more time. So it's like a game of having to collect time while also going as fast as possible.
Okay.
So I'm having a decent. It's got like more content in it than I expected. Also, Pac-Man has a voice, and he talks
Oh,
a lot.
that sounds weird. No, I can't have
He
Pac-Man
I
talking.
think
What
it's
the hell?
funny. No, it's funny. He sounds like a normal guy. He's just like, "Hey, I'm Pac-Man," like that.
No, that
He
sounds like Sonic the way how you were saying it.
Well, no, like just hey, I'm Pac-Man. Like you'd have to play the game, which definitely get this game on a sale. It's only $30 if you get the standard edition. If I don't know if you ever feel the need for just a nice simple platformer, I'm definitely on the verge of recommending it. I don't know if you played the original Pac-Man World Repack.
No, I hadn't messed around. The only Pac-Man I really mess with, to be honest, Steven, is just the original old arcade one,
Well,
and
the
Pac-Man
original,
99 whenever it was running on the NSO. But yeah.
well, yeah, the original one is in there though. Like you can play the original Pac-Man in this game, so which is cool.
There's so many different ways to play OG Pac-Man nowadays, though. Sometimes
Yeah.
I just boot it up on my N64 and play that mess.
Yeah. In terms of other games, I don't know if I think I started playing this I might have talked about it on the last podcast, but if I didn't, I started Hollow Knight and I beat Hollow Knight, which much better game than I gave it credit for, because I kind of had some negative thoughts on that game when I first played it a couple years back. But I went back and I was pleasantly surprised. I like Hollow Knight a lot more now. Nice, solid 8 out of 10 game, maybe a 9 out of 10. And I started Silk Song, which I'll admit I kind of started like 3 games right now. But I started Silk Song. Silk Song's great so far, but it's hard. It's really fucking hard. I love me some Metroidvania. Like I know you like Metroidvanias as well. I know, but you were saying to me, "Oh, I should play Silk Song first." No, play Hollow Knight first. Silk Song will wipe your ass on the pavement if you play it
No,
first.
it probably won't.
Yeah, yes, it will. It doesn't have difficulty options, or neither of these games do. So normal is what everyone plays it on. Normal is basically hard for both of these games. But the first game at least gives you a lot more to work with, and also has certain upgrades that make the game easier. I haven't found any of those yet in Silk Song. They either save them for a lot longer, or they're just well hidden. But yeah, and I'm eventually. I know you've been playing it, but I'm gonna eventually try Ninja Gaiden Ragebound now that they put that patch out. I got it right here.
I'm about to say you sleeping on that game, man, Steven. You should have been hopped on that mess. You were the
And
one that
then
told me they got the patch out, and then that's when I picked it up on the
yeah,
Switch too.
I know. I know. I'm just glad. I'm glad you're enjoying it, because you're kind of like giving me my impressions on the game, whether or not it's worth it. Now, the last game I want to mention is Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. I have 30 hours in this game already, and it just came out. So I want you to tell me what that implies.
Um, like you're a Sonic shill. I mean, like
I'm a
what? What?
Sonic fan, and
Hmm.
it's also a good game. It's a fun game. It's got crossplay, which is really surprising. Um, so anyone on any system can play together, no problem. You just have to add them, which is very nice. No bullshit there. It just works. It just works well. The online itself also works well. Haven't had any issues. In terms of a single player experience, it has a decent amount of content there from the start. It's a nice game just to do your Grand Prix, do your rival races. There's tons of stuff to unlock. And the time trials, Zard, the time trials are so insanely hard to S rank. I genuinely don't know what they were thinking.
They might update the game a little later on and just be like, oh, we got to nurse back some of these
I
times.
hope
It's a little
not,
rough.
because the game only requires you to get A ranks for challenges.
I mean, they
Like
don't see a
S
high percentage, or not high percentage per se, but just a higher enough percentage. They might knock it down. I mean, if you
we'll
said it's
see.
that hard, I mean,
No, they are extremely hard. Like the world record is only like maybe 2 seconds faster on certain courses. Like I just by getting an S rank, I was top 36 in the world on Metal Harbor.
hmm.
I was top 36 just from beating the S rank, which is insane. Either way, though, it's a fun game, and it's getting tons of post-launch content. They're adding a ton of free racers from Sega games, and then they're adding all the season pass stuff with TMNT, Avatar, Mega Man, Pac-Man, um, fucking Minecraft, and then SpongeBob.
That's weird to see
Which is
Minecraft like that. I'm like, out of
well,
all things, I was like, dog. Okay.
after seeing it in Smash, I've kind of just accepted it at this point. Like it doesn't really look too out of place now.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
I, I like it honestly. The one that feels a little out of place is Avatar, just in terms of like fitting in with a racing game. Like I don't know. I hope it's the cabbage cart for the car.
Oh no, it's probably just gonna be Aang just riding around on this little
Or the air ball,
the
maybe.
air ball or like a chunk of earth slab or something.
Either or just like an Appa themed car. I don't know. It's kind of cool though. I'm definitely excited for all that post launch content because it's gonna bring new stages to the game, new music, this and that. I'm excited.
And no
Um,
voice acting.
please, yeah, no voice acting for that stuff, but the rival interactions for all of the main cast are really fun. They
Okay.
recorded over 4 hours of interactions between them. Some of them is just them shit talking each other. Sometimes it's them getting along. I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun with the game, and I definitely would recommend, because I don't know if you've ever played a Sonic racing game, but they're fun. It's a very fun, arcadey feeling game.
I
Pick
messed
it up when
around
it's
with
on sale.
the what was it, the live or not live, but the online demo beta, the open beta test. I think that's what they dubbed it
I
as.
forgot you played that.
Yeah, in the lead up to it, I was playing it with you, Kyle, and a few of our other buddies and stuff like that. And at first it was fun, but then the more and more I kept playing it, and I was thinking, all right, I think I kind of have an idea on the concept of how to drive if you're driving a car versus trying to drive on like one of the rider boards, like it's Sonic Riders style. And the more and more I kept doing this, I was like, dog, I was like, what is this? Like some of the turns I couldn't make as tight as what I want to, or the fact when you start out at the race, depending on the build is the way how you got your carts customized and stuff, you get like a special ability right out the gate. And I hate those people in the back that happen to get the truck that happen to had that one little stupid old theme playing and they just truck everybody at the start. I was like,
Well,
holy
yeah,
shoot.
Zard, I can tell you right now that happens a lot less in the actual game because people were just testing out the gadgets. You have to play the game a considerable amount to unlock all of the gadget slots.
Hmm.
Like, when I go online, I just see people using like the ones that make your machine better, like, give you more power, give you like a charge drift immediately, this and that. It's a lot more tame on the actual online. But like the game itself is just a really fun horror racing game. Uh, it will definitely go on sale. Come on, Sonic games go on frequent good sales. So I hope you eventually pick it up. I would definitely be up to play it. I'm gonna keep playing it. Kyle's gonna be playing it a bunch.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know. It's just something, at least for me. I don't know. Maybe it is a little bit more tame now that not everybody has everything unlocked, but just give everybody enough time, they probably will have it unlocked, and they'll probably go back to that same amount. I don't know. I just felt like at times it was just a little too crazy chaotic, and I
The
know I'm
demo,
saying that.
well,
Oh,
oh sorry.
no, and I said I know I'm saying that in comparison to, I know we have like Mario Kart World over here with 24 people or whatever though. But at least with that, I can kind of see people a mile away off. I know what to do and how to do it and when to do it in order to kind of dodge some of the craziness or whatever though. But some of that stuff with Sonic, I don't know. I just felt like I didn't have enough room, or maybe I'm just not used to the items or something like that. I don't know. It's just something about it where I'm like, dog, I can't do anything up in this mess. So, and I'll easily go from like being second or third place to all the way in the very back. What honestly, no way for me to be able to fully catch up. In comparison to somebody in first place, that they know what they're doing, they can kind of stay up in the pack. I don't know. At least that's just how I kind of felt after playing it for like 2-3 hours or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
I will let you know right now. One of my main complaints with the demo was that the item balance felt too chaotic. While in the main game, I'm surprised to say that the item balance feels a little bit better.
Hmm.
Specifically, first place and second place really don't get too far ahead of the pack. Like the blue shell equivalent, which is that ghost from Sonic Adventure 2. You have the ghost, who is basically the blue shell, targets first place, but it sends a shockwave out that can hit like second place and third place. And then you also have this one item that sends like a weight to hit the front players. Like there's like at least three different items that act like a blue shell, but when you're in first place, you have a chance to get a defense item, so it doesn't feel completely unfair. I can tell you right now, Zard, this is amazing I've never seen it like this. This is the first racing game in a while where I haven't seen like first place get insanely ahead of the pack yet. Like usually everyone is pretty packed together. Like you can be in 12th place and you can get a really good set of items and you know, you could actually pass, if you use them wisely, you can actually like pass everyone and clutch out a win if you know what you're doing.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the item balance in the main game, in the actual game, is a lot better than the demo. I would get it though. I would definitely recommend you get it. And then, well, this is a game I'm considering getting. Apparently, Hogwarts Legacy is like fucking $10. and I've been watching the Harry Potter movies recently, so I might get it.
If you get it, obviously don't play it until you're done watching all the movies.
Well,
That's what
yeah,
I would
I
say.
got you.
Because
I
otherwise you'll
got you.
miss some references here and there in those games. Because those games that call out to like the books, the movies, even some of the stuff that would be in the Fantastic Beasts series. But I mean, at that point, once
I'm
you're
not
done with it,
watching those.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
If you were to watch any of those, you're fine with just watching the very first one and calling it because the other two after it completely sucked. The first one was all right, and it kind of gave you hope for maybe some stuff for the future, but then the rest of them, they pale in comparison.
Are those entirely original, or are they based off of books?
Some of it's kind of based. I think it's kind of original, but it pulls, you know, it pulls some information from the books, like the history of the Wizarding World and all of that stuff from the original book series. But it kind of goes its own path with the Fantastic Beasts.
So they didn't make Fantastic Beast books.
No,
it's just based off of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know. All right. And I think that's really, in terms of games, that's really all I've been up to. Trust me, it's a lot more than I'm usually doing.
All right. I felt like that segment went on a little longer than normal, though, but I guess you've been playing a whole lot more.
I have a lot I've been playing, yeah. No, I genuinely have had a lot I've been playing. And we played Mario Party, but, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, we're about to hit that that heavy point of the season, as I was alluding to earlier before Steven hopped up in here, because literally this week, Final Fantasy Tactics comes out, and I'm looking forward to that. I think, and I'm trying to pull up my little calendar over here. I think the week after that, Ghost of Yote comes out, and then I think there's an off week or something like that, or not even an off week. I think the week after that, then I think that's when we have Pokemon Legends ZA, and then a week after that, I got Dragon Quest 1+2, and then on like that very tail ending week, I got Mina the Hollower. So there's always going to be something for me to talk about here in the month of October, though.
Did you mention Pokemon Legends ZA? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Oh, and then Ninja Gaiden 4, too, squeezed up in between Pokemon Legends ZA and like the Mina the Hollower and Dragon Quest 1+2. That's a whole lot of gaming. That it ripped my wallet this month. Ripped my wallet this next month.
You want to know what sucks? Hades 2 just came out, and I'm going to skip it for now because there's so much shit coming.
There's too much. It's honestly too much.
Yeah, and what, going into November? November isn't even fucking safe. November, we have Age of Imprisonment right at the start, and then
Kirby at the end.
By the time, because remember, Hyrule Warriors is probably going to be a longer game, so by the time you beat that, Kirby Air Riders is already out.
And then you're only going to really be able to play Kirby for like a week and a half and before Metroid Prime 4 comes out. And then at that point, Kirby's going on the back burner for better or for worse. It's not like a game you probably have to do a whole bunch to beat a lot of it. Because when Metroid Prime 4 comes out, that's my full focus for the end of the year. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, shoot.
And then obviously everyone's going to be busy during the holiday season. So it's just a very busy period coming up. And if you plan on getting Mario Galaxy 1+2, then there you go. That's another one.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I didn't even mention about that. Whew. All right. I guess we're going to leave it right there, though. But rest assured, you'll hear some of our stories, thoughts about all these new games and stuff that are coming out here fairly soon, though. So there's ain't going to be nothing short of anything great to play, from RPGs, action games, strategy, all of that wrapped up into one, though. So, yeah. That's going to basically do it in terms of what we've been going through and playing these past couple weeks. So now we'll jump over to the last major segment of the show, that being what's in the gaming news. All right, Steven. I feel like with most things in life, it's always a tale of the good, the bad, and the ugly. We got to talk about some really ugly mess right now, because apparently Xbox, they're always in some hot mojo, and their little greed factor is kind of creeping in just a little bit, though, for two different fronts. But let's break it down one at a time, because apparently the cost of the Xbox consoles have gone up once again. And I'm like, oh, shoot, because mind y'all, I got a video coming out on it here. Well, actually, no, it's actually out on the channel right now. Where I was talking about is gaming starting to become a luxury thing right now. So you can hear my full thoughts in that video though, but just get like a softer version of it and hear your thoughts, Steven. No, but the fact that the Xbox Series X with the disc drive originally started off with it costing about $500. And in May of this year, it went up to 600, and now they upped it again to where now that console costs you $650. That's just wild right there. And I think the Xbox Series S is roughly around 400 now, and it originally started off at 300. And I was like, man, Xbox, I don't know what y'all doing right now, but y'all lost y'all gosh dang mind. I mean, yes, I know PlayStation upped their price too. Their console with a disc drive is like $550, but $550 compared to $650, like what on this green earth is going to convince somebody to say, you know, I'm going to pay that extra $100 just to own Xbox with that disc drive versus a PS5 and its disc drive, knowing good and well Xbox doesn't really care where you play their games, because you can play their games on that console, you can play it on a PC, you can play it literally on your PS5. Some of those games are starting to show up on the Switch and Switch 2. And, play it on your TV, play it on your new handhelds and stuff. We'll talk about the handheld stuff in full here in a bit. But I don't understand what Xbox strategy is at this point, though. I know they want to keep people in their ecosystem with Game Pass, though, but that's only going to really take you so far.
I think Xbox genuinely does not want people to buy their games and their systems. I don't know what the fuck is going on in their mind to even make them think that this is even remotely a good idea. I'm pretty sure a all digital Xbox Series X is now $600. Okay? Now to put that into perspective, for $600, you can get a PS5 plus like a game. An all digital PS5, by the way. And a game.
That's $500, yeah.
For the same price as the console. For Xbox. And not to mention how Xbox, obviously, as you were saying, really thrives off of Game Pass, which is a subscription model where you don't even own your games. But that's what they're trying to funnel you into. They're trying to funnel you into this rental bullshit. It's like a streaming box, but way, way, way more expensive.
No, yeah, it's entirely too expensive.
It is insane. Because I don't even know if companies are even doing this. I don't think companies are actually abiding by these rules.
Wait, say that one last part again.
I don't think storage fronts are actually abiding by these new prices.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's a little bit of a delayed effect, because they did the same thing when PS5s were marked up from the disc drive from 500 to 550. It took a while, but now they're actually holding true to it. So now if you were to look it up on Best Buy, you're going to see that PS5 with the disc drive at 550. I was looking at the Xbox Series consoles right now on Best Buy's website. That Xbox Series X, the 1 terabyte with the disc drive, it's still holding at 600, even though it's supposed to be 650. But given enough time, it probably will eventually flow over, because I know that for a lot of retailers, I'm pretty sure between Xbox and PlayStation, they're not really moving a lot of units for Xbox, so they probably know if they mark that price up to where it's supposed to be at that recommended MSRP. I mean, already having a tough time to sell those, it's probably going to get even tougher.
I just found an Xbox Series X on eBay for $400 in like almost perfect condition.
No, that's probably somebody trying to recoup that cost.
I'm just saying it's crazy. Like, I even found, I'm finding listings for like 500 and this and that. Like, I'm seeing listing for Xbox Series S is now $400. It is not it's not the cheap option anymore. It used to be 300. It used to go on sale for like 200.
Yeah, that is true.
I found one entirely new on eBay for $319. Not opened, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one with 1 terabyte. the one with 1 terabyte, it's actually cheaper than the 512 gigabyte.
Yeah, and I was just trying to browse on Best Buy, just say, hey, just punch in that Xbox Series X, the 2 terabyte one, which, mind you, that Xbox Series X that was 2 terabytes, original was $730, Steven.
It's 800
and now it's
right?
$800. They're out of their gosh dang mind. Ain't nobody gonna buy that. They rather just would rather get a cheaper one and just delete and not, keep what's on the console that you're not actively playing, because that's stupidly expensive.
If they're really looking for a console for that much, the PS5 Pro is more powerful at that point.
And that's what I don't get. So why in the world would anybody buy that over a PlayStation? That's why we're starting to see PlayStation just be the defaulto system in terms of what people will get between these two systems in particular.
Yeah, and that's why people are starting to get into PC more, because it's getting bullshit.
Yeah, so I don't know, and that's the only thing that kind of sucks, is because then it's like PlayStation kind of wins by default. They're gonna kind of lax up. They're gonna do whatever they want with their terms of their price and stuff like that. The only ones that really could give them a run for their money would be Nintendo, but that's more so in the, I would say, on the Japanese market, where Nintendo's actually beating obviously Xbox, but even PlayStation on the home front for that. So I mean, it's getting a little weird between Xbox and the way how they're trying to devise their strategy and whatnot.
Well, Nintendo is competing with Xbox right now. Nintendo doesn't really compete with anybody, but if we had to say they're competing with someone, it would be Xbox, because they're basically selling a portable Series S for $50 more. And yes, I know that Nintendo games don't go on sale as much, and this and that, but like, it probably is still a better idea to get a just the only systems you should have are a Switch 2 and a PC, because that way you'll be able to play everything. And Switch 2 is going to get its own exclusive games. It's going to be portable. It's got the convenience factor. It's got the simplicity. I just don't personally see any reason to start with an Xbox anymore. PS5, it's still got those timed exclusives. I'd say PlayStation Plus is probably just a better deal, because at least you don't, those games, they can't leave your account. Games on Game Pass, they can just leave Game Pass.
Well, don't say that, because PlayStation Plus, like if a game's on PlayStation Extra, which I have seen this before, they can take it out of there. So if you don't actually
own monthlies.
The monthly free ones, yes, you're right.
Yeah, it's nice, obviously, for that. Because if you've been subscribing for a while, you have this huge catalog of games that you're even though you're spending, even though you're paying for it yearly, you're still getting a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, because I got a decent amount of good stuff. I haven't really been able to mess around with too much stuff, though. But no, I mean, it's pretty good, at least for, I would say, subscription-based service for modern games that you're able to hold on to, versus Nintendo, which is really good for the sake of everything that's older in their generation thing. But then you look at Xbox, and Xbox is kind of cool, but then again, you never know what's going to pop in versus what's always constantly be taken out.
And everyone seems like they're trying to get into the handheld market, from what it seems, because they finally realized it's viable.
Yeah. But yeah, so honestly, overall, I don't know what Xbox's main strategy is for all of this stuff, though, but I don't know. I keep telling people, I'm like, this next console, whatever comes next after the Series X, may very well be the last time they make a dedicated, piece of hardware. And after that, I'm fully expecting them to go full third party. I'm going to live and die on that sword right there. I'm just saying, though. Whew. All right, well, that's it in terms of the Xbox console prices. But let's talk about this other Xbox thing here real quick, because we finally managed to get some official prices for what is this ROG Xbox Ally, along with the ROG Xbox Ally X. And if y'all thought an $800 console was stupidly expensive enough, you hadn't really seen anything, though, because freaking shoot. Because the Xbox Ally, just the standard one, the one that's a little watered down, comes in at an MSRP at $600 basically, or $599.99. And that Xbox Ally X comes in at a whopping $999.99, effectively being $1,000. And I was like, oh shoot. Mind y'all, the rumor prices for both of these, I think at first when Best Buy almost seemed like it wanted to leak it, I think both of them was roughly trying to be like $100 cheaper. But they never really posted prices Xbox did because they were constantly evaluating market prices and stuff like that, the global economy and all of that. So they didn't want to officially throw out numbers then because lo and behold, I think they have to move it up higher than what they internally probably wanted to even do it for originally though. But gosh dang. I just don't know. I just don't honestly know.
What the fuck are they doing?
I really don't know, Steven. I mean, the concept of them having a dedicated handheld, or almost, I would say almost a dedicated handheld, is not a bad idea in concept, but you have to look around the room and see what people are wanting and what they are demanding. Yes, it works out with the Nintendo Switch 2, because they're the ones that kickstarted this whole thing in terms of, I mean, well, I say kickstarted. They always been in the market of having handheld gaming since the OG Game Boy, and they're the main front runners. You had PlayStation over here copying them with the PSP and the PS Vita and all of that, so that naturally made sense. They just had the brilliant idea of just fusing the home console and the handheld market into a hybrid, and then since then, you had other companies over here with the PC gaming on. It's like, oh, let's try to take our PCs on the go, because honestly, they're always sticking in your house. Can't really do much about it though. Hence, you had the whole Steam Deck, and you had the standard ROG Ally, which are both great devices, mind you. If you're interested in PC gaming and you want to take your stuff on the go, both of those are really good devices. I have my ROG Ally, the standard one. That's the oh gosh, which one is it? It was the original Gen 1, not the one with the Generation 2, but it's the one with the Z1 Extreme. It still holds up pretty well, especially when I hook it up into my external GPU on my TV. Really great device, mind you. However, with these ROG Xbox Allies and ROG Xbox Ally X's, all you're doing is adding a silly old Xbox button on that handheld, having the Xbox branding all over it though. Yes, it's souped up a little bit stronger than the version I already have, but that same interface and stuff that Xbox is having on that, they're going to go and update even on my current ROG Ally that they have right now. And you can get that sucker way cheaper than these ROG Xbox Allies, mind you. So I don't understand it.
This thing better have some power behind it, and it better last more than 3 hours battery life.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Because I'm literally have to whip up Best Buy's I'm whipping up Best Buy's website right now, and I'm looking at it. That ROG Xbox Ally, or not the ROG Xbox Ally. Back it up a little bit. The ROG Ally that I have right now, the one that's the Z1 Extreme, that's already about what, 650-ish bucks. I think that's roughly what I paid for it originally, but that system does go on sale from time to time. I've seen people been able to get it as cheap as almost around the $500 range. So almost half the price of what that ROG Xbox Ally X would be at like a whole stinking terabyte. So I really don't know what they're thinking of.
Don't worry. When this thing gets discounted to shit, it will actually probably be one of the most affordable gaming PC handhelds.
I mean, eventually, yes, it might, because of the fact that not a lot of people are going to get their hands up on it or whatever, though, which, okay, maybe.
I think sooner rather than later, honestly. I think this thing is going to get discounted to hell after its first year. Personally. Like, I don't know. Like, come on. Was it 600 or 700 for the cheaper model?
No, 600 for the cheaper, 1,000 for the expensive.
Like, I don't know how powerful that one's gonna be, but like, is it gonna be comparable to a Steam Deck or to a Switch 2? Like, that's the main question, because Steam Deck, you can do PC stuff on it. I don't know if the ROG can do that as well, or if, like, I'm hoping, is it like just a front end to a PC, or is it like actual dedicated Xbox? Like
No, it's not.
just
No, it's
extra.
not. No, it's not dedicated. It's basically that ROG Ally, Steven, that I have right now with a new interface that's actually going to be
That's it.
updated on my current ROG Ally. That is it. And basically with the ROG Ally systems, there's two major chips. There's a Z1 Extreme and one that doesn't have that Extreme. So it's like the standard and one that's souped down just a little bit, watered down just a little bit. And then there's a Z2 Extreme, which is basically, I guess, your next gen ish, kinda ish, a step up basically. There's that Z2 chip, and that's like a whole nother step up. However, mind you, there's already a ROG Ally X. That's not the Xbox ROG Ally X. That's currently selling, I think, roughly for about $800. That's already with the Z2 Extreme up in there. Your 120 hertz with the screen and stuff like that, and all of that. Obviously, the screen itself is up to like a 1080p. It already has your 24 gigabytes of memory with your 1 terabyte of storage without the Xbox branding on it, and it's $200 cheaper. It's the same exact guts as what this Xbox branded one is, just without the Xbox button, and it's $200 cheaper. That's why I'm saying, what's the point of Xbox even doing this mess if you're gonna come in at a more expensive price than what's currently out on the market that would play the same exact games in the same exact style like this? I keep up with everything ROG Ally related, because even my PC, now I'm streaming this whole podcast is up on and stuff like that, had that 5080 graphics card up in there. This is an Asus dedicated product. I keep up with most all Asus because almost everything PC related is Asus. Between my ROG Ally and this PC that I got right here, shoot, even the external GPU that I hook up in my ROG Ally, all the products I have PC wise is all related with Asus. So I know everything that's kind of going on within most of their products right now. And Xbox, I get the partnership and stuff, but this does not make any sense.
Nintendo Switch 2 is sitting very comfortably as the cheapest option right now, unless they fold.
Yeah, they truly are. And I don't know.
I know the games are more expensive, but just as an entry point, you could do a lot worse. I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it just getting a I know handhelds or this and that. If you want a handheld, the Switch 2 is going to be so much easier to set up anyways. Like portable PCs, they take a little bit of setup to get them working.
No, yeah, well, it does take a little leg room, groundwork going for it and stuff, but once it is set up, it is really nice, especially if you want to use it for like an emulation device or whatever, though, or to be able to play all your indies and stuff on the go. I mean, it's nothing to snuff at. It's a really nice piece of technology and equipment.
And I know it's a cloud device, but you can get a PS5 and a PlayStation Portal. Maybe if there's a discount for around the same price.
Oh yeah, no, because I remember the Portal originally sells for $200, and I think when I picked it up, it was on, or I managed to price match it to where I basically got it for sale for $150. And at that point, I was like, shoot, if it lets me play some of my PS5 games away from my normal setup where my big screen TV is at, and I can play it in the comfort of my bed, it's fine. My internet connection is good enough to where, as long as I'm not playing like a super high action game or nothing like that, where the response time's got to be really insanely quick. I mean, playing all my RPGs, you don't need like a crazy response time for that. It was perfectly fine for me when I was playing Metaphor ReFantazio. Great way to keep the game on and going away from my big screen TV, though. But I don't know. And then we hear about words and rumblings and stuff like that, rumors and stuff how PlayStation might have a dedicated, handheld unit for what would be the PS6 generation, though. But topic for another day. Kind of already talked about in the previous ZardCast podcast if you want to listen to that. But
yeah.
Outside of that, Xbox, they just lost their mind. I don't even know how to process this mess no more.
Yeah, I am fully confident that PS6 will be $800 or even just $900. Like, I'm fully confident, and I'm fully confident PS6 is going to be $900, and the new Xbox is going to be $1,000. Which I don't even know if Xbox is gonna make a new one. I don't like. What are they gonna do? Xbox Series X Pro? Like, I don't know. They've kind of set themselves up for failure, or they're just gonna leave the gaming market because I don't know. Everything is quote unquote an Xbox nowadays.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
It's
It's getting a little weird.
weird. I don't know. Like, I don't even think the idea of a portable Game Pass machine is all that bad. But at that price point, fucking, oh my god.
Yeah, I don't
Price,
know.
I think 500 would be your perfect price point. A little bit more than Switch 2 and Steam Deck, but you have the convenience of a slightly more powerful machine.
Yeah. All right.
Fucking.
Yeah, we probably can keep ranting on about Xbox all in all. And I ain't trying to make this a bash party or whatever,
I
though.
know.
But, like,
I know.
you probably catch both of our drifts here, though. But Xbox, they kind of lost their mind. Maybe they get back on the right path. Maybe not. Who knows? You can only lead a horse to water so many times, but you can't force them ever to drink. Just some words of wisdom right there for all y'all. All right. Anyway, though, that's going to basically do it in terms of all the Xbox talk. So now we're going to go ahead and switch it over to a new topic. Because, Steven, I don't know if you necessarily heard of this game before. It's called Ananta. Have you heard of that?
No, I have not.
Oh,
seen
shoot.
this under topics, and
You need to look this mess up. Because I'm about to go ahead and just have some overlay footage show up on the stream for all of the live
Alright.
viewers on YouTube to be able to sit down and watch, though. Because, oh, freaking shoot. Man, I've been having my eyes on this game for the past 2 whole years. And this game right here, it's like, imagine, Steven, if Hoyoverse, you know, with your Genshin Impact, your Zenless Zone Zeros, your all, you know, Honkai Star Rails, were to have a fusion with Grand Theft Auto and SpiderMan all at the same time. And that's essentially what you got in this game right here. Because you can literally be running around the town swinging like Spider-Man through the city because you got like some kind of symbiotic powers or stuff like that. And then at the very next moment, you could be in a car chasing somebody like Grand Theft Auto style or whatever, though, and trying to arrest somebody, riding on motorcycles, jumping around, having parties and stuff like that, though, arresting people, doing all of that. It's all the best elements from those 3 games that I probably described, obviously in an anime-ish like style. Obviously, you're going to have some story built up in there, though, where you wouldn't think all 3 of these things fused all together up in here, you fighting criminals and stuff like that. You wouldn't think all that stuff would balance out and look that good. But whole freaking shoot, like this game, I think it's going to do some numbers when it finally comes out. This is something that's planned to come out on PC and PS5 at launch, and I think it's going to come out to mobile a little later on, though. And I feel like they take some of the best elements from Grand Theft Auto and some of the best elements from Spider-Man up in this mess to where, with this huge open world and stuff like that, and there's so many different gameplay styles as well that you're able to experience up in this thing. And luckily enough, they did manage to have this game have an appearance at Tokyo Game Show, which was kind of on and going for like this past week or so, to where we managed to get some people to actually manage to get their hands up on it, though. Steven, you probably heard of this dude before, probably on Twitter, Genki, however you pronounce it, though. Genki. You probably seen him on Twitter before.
Maybe, I don't know. But,
yeah.
I have a question about this game.
Uh-huh.
Is this like a single player game?
It's a single player game.
This isn't gonna be no gacha slop.
I don't know. Technically, I don't know how they will monetize it. That's the only thing we don't have.
By buying the game. No? Will it not be a paid game?
Well, actually,
I'm trying to ask.
They hadn't really talked about how they're basically monetizing it. If it's just a full-on game, or if it's going to be something that's basically like your Honkai Star Rail games or your Genshin Impacts or whatever. Though, if you got to have people like that. But I'm not entirely too sure. They hadn't really talked about it yet. But based upon, and I'm pulling up a tweet from somebody Genki, who happened to get hands on it at Tokyo Game Show. This is basically like the way how he kind of described it, and he said it was wild. The best way that he said he described it as was Spider-Man, GTA, Uncharted, and anime in a bucket and exploded. It's basically a massive open world game with many different gameplay styles. 1 minute you're swinging around, the next you're diving, you're driving sports cars. Demo opens with melee combat scenario like Spider-Man. Car crashes in it become a crazy shooting car chase game with explosions everywhere, kind of similar to Uncharted. You have open world exploration and missions like GTA and Spider-Man. You can switch characters and it changes location like GTA 5. Each character has their own traits. The guy can swing around like Spider-Man using like a symbiotic arm and powers. Animation and swinging controls are exactly like Spider-Man, but swing momentum isn't necessarily as fast. Another character is a police detective and can stop NPCs and interrogate them or arrest them. Another character is a driver. You can drive around the city and do missions or deliveries. She also has a scooter and a bike that she can pull out. Lots of exaggerated, over-the-top happenings in anime, though. And yeah, that's basically a nutshell of everything that he could basically describe while going hands-on with it. I think this is going to be a game that's going to probably come out in 2026 based upon the fact that people are able to go a little bit hands-on with it, though.
So I'm looking at this game, okay? And yeah, I genuinely can't fucking tell what's happening. I don't know. Like it okay, like there's main characters obviously, but yeah, 1 minute you're doing a stealth mission, next minute you have guns, and it's quite literally just the GTA camera angle as you're aiming and shooting. The next minute it looks like fucking Yakuza with like the first scene where he's like punching them with melee. And then yeah, you have a quite literally Spider-Man like animations when he's got that symbiote arm. It when he's swinging through the city, it quite literally is just Spider-Man. I'm genuinely surprised that this is a PlayStation video that I'm watching. That they're fine with this.
I'm telling you, there's so much random crap and so much wild stuff. I mean, shoot, you even were having like a woman versus a dude, and they were literally having like a slap off or whatever, though, or like arresting the dude that's running around in a hot dog suit or whatever, though, or nearly about to run over a dude right now that's about to jump on you. I mean, it's all of the best elements of what would have been in a GTA game combined with Spider-Man. I love every single second of this trailer. It's just wild and crazy, but there's so many good stuff that's up in this mess.
Well, I don't know. So far, it's like, okay, like, I understand the concept, but if I had to make a guess, it's probably going to have a problem with actually focusing on making any of these gameplay styles good. Like, okay, we have, like, 5 different goddamn games mixed into one, but, like, who knows if any of it jives well together. I don't know yet. Like, I'm not playing the game. My second thing, I really do hope that this is just a single-player game. That's it. I just hope it's a single-player game that releases. Is this being made by the Hoyoverse studio?
No. This is a whole nother company out of China.
That gives me hope. That gives me so much fucking hope because it does look visually nice, and I'm assuming it's just because of China money they were able to make such a big game. Is this even gonna get translated?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the whole trailer was in English.
I'm looking at a Japanese trailer. Like when he pulls up the phone, it's all in Japanese in Chinese, I guess.
Well, I mean, the voice acting English, but the text on the screen might be a little different. I mean, yeah, that will eventually probably get worked out, but yeah.
And then there's like this whole social media aspect. It says at the bottom, it says, I'm looking at the description, you'll have to become an internet sensation and save the world. And you have your secret weapon is social media. I wonder if you can actually take photos and selfies in game and then post them, and then they give you like followers.
Yeah.
Through the in-game social media. That could be an interesting concept. I'm looking at this trailer because I didn't know about this game's existence before you just fucking brought it up to me.
No, yeah, because I've been having my eye on it since the very first time I ran across it on Twitter, and it happened to showcase off this trailer, and I was like, oh gosh, this looks kind of ambitious. I don't know where the direction of this game is going to go, but I'm kind of all here for it. I was just constantly waiting news for the past 2 years, and finally we got like a first good substantial amount of what would be like our first official gameplay trailer, and the fact people went hands-on with it at Tokyo Game Show, it's almost to the finish line. Like this mess more than likely will come out next year.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's just, purely single player and they just keep I mean, it looks like there's so much content right here just alone in these trailers. It's like, dang, I couldn't hardly see how this would even play like a what would be a quote unquote like a Hoyoverse stylized game, like a Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, where you're. I mean, obviously this will look like something you want to constantly try to update from time to time, though. But like, you have to have so much content for a game that's stylized and mashed with so many different styles up in there right at launch. I'm kind of curious about it. I don't know exactly how it's going to shape out though, but I'm all here for this game day one. That's all I gotta say.
The fact that it's gonna be on mobile scares the fuck out of me, though. I don't think this is gonna be nearly what they're cracking it up to be.
I mean, for a lot of these games that are kind of stylized like this, they're usually always PC and mobile. Like most of those Hoyoverse games and stuff,
No,
they
but
were
like,
kind of like that. But
it makes me doubt that this is some kind of open world single player game, like they're suggesting.
I mean, if you can look at it, you can see how big the map is when it zooms out on one character, as it's doing right now on the screen, and zooms all the way to a whole nother part of the city where then that person is going to be driving in a car and then be whizzing by. You could tell that this place is pretty big. It's not necessarily going to be small whatsoever.
All right, we'll see.
But
We'll
yeah.
come back to this game in probably like another 20 episodes. We'll be back on this game.
Yeah, probably something like that. Well, not quite 20, because 20 would be like a whole entire year from now. Oh, I don't know. It could lead into something. I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of what I wanted to talk about within that. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Ananta. I'm going with Ananta.
No,
Ananta
there's
trailer.
an N. It's Ananta.
Ananta? Oh gosh, I don't know. Anyway, though,
I mean,
but
that's how it's spelled.
That's how it's spelled though, unless they got like a silent N or something. I don't know. Anyway, though, that's all I wanted to talk about within that one trailer though. So keep your eyes out up on that game, because it ain't gonna be the only stylized GTA game we're gonna have next year. GTA 6 better watch out, boys. Anyway, though, that's gonna do it for that. Next up, we did manage to have that state of play that managed to drop out this week. And to be honest, Steven, outside of one game in particular, which you know that one game is, we're going to hold off for a second. Was there anything else, honestly, in that state of play outside of games that we already knew about that was planning on coming out? Like, for example, they talked briefly about Final Fantasy Tactics, how that's about to come out here fairly soon. Outside of games like that, was there anything else in that state of play that remotely caught your interest?
That Deus Ex remaster looks like shit visually.
I thought you were about to say that Deus, however you pronounce that game. I thought you were about
Deus
to say
Ex.
that mess was the stuff, and I was about to say,
No,
gosh, dang.
It's apparently a really good game. Like it's an old ass game that they were remastering. But no, the remaster itself actually looks terrible. Like it just does not look good. Sonic Racing Crossworlds Mega Man stuff showed up and it looks really cool. Okay. Dynasty Warriors 3 remastered. Apparently that game's like really good. That's like one of the good Dynasty Warriors, like on the PS2 that they're remastering completely. Besides that, like, there's a lot of stuff there's those stupid speakers. I spent like a minute and a half talking about the damn speakers. Oh, we do surround sound.
Oh gosh, I remember that. The gaming desktop speakers thing, which I honestly, low key, Steven, I'm kind of looking into that. It's really gonna come down to the price at the end of the day, though. Because yes, I mean with my monitor and stuff, I mean I can play volume and stuff. I mostly have my headphones on at the end of the day, though. I'm just kind of curious in terms of like a tech aspect, what all is it technically capable of. So I don't know. I kind of got my eyes on them though, but I mean PlayStation do be putting out a lot of products. Yeah.
And probably like the most ball busting thing,
Sony.
a God of War DualSense controller for the 20th anniversary.
Couldn't even get no game, y'all. Couldn't get no game.
Oh, apparently, yeah. A lot of people wanted like the collection, I guess. The collection that they released. I think they released it on PS3. They wanted it on PS5. I don't know. Either way, though, like you could have done something. Could have done anything else other than that. But yeah, besides the small things, like I would probably say, that game they started with, Saros, like it looks cool. It's from the people that made Returnal, and it basically looks like Returnal. But that's my problem. It just looks like more Returnal.
I'm glad you say that it looks somewhat a little bit cool, because at least for me personally, I wasn't able to watch the State of Play live, but I was like, I looked at that segment and I was like, I'm not feeling this whatsoever. I
Well,
could tell what the
they-
game was already, and I was like, that trailer didn't sell me any further up on that game.
It's an extremely nice looking game visually. It's got tons of particles flying around, but that's what Returnal had. And is it just me, Zard, or did this trailer did a terrible job at showing that this is a roguelike?
Oh gosh, I couldn't even tell you what genre that game was.
Yeah, exactly. Like they should have leaned into that's the whole point, is that it's a roguelike that you have to conquer. You have to like memorize every little bit and escape from this hell and conquer it. And this and that. That's the whole point of a roguelike. So, and it's just, they just showed him fucking jumping around shooting people, which is cool and all, but like, I don't know, you just show me random fucking gameplay and like showing me, to see the sights. I don't know. I don't care. It didn't really look all that interesting from the gameplay we seen, but like, I'm pretty sure it's good. I'm sure it's good. But like, I don't know, man. It's gonna come out in 2026. We'll see if it's good. But like, it quite literally is just Returnal again, and I like Returnal, but like, I don't know. I expected just something a little more, I guess.
Yeah, so I would say outside of everything you mentioned right there, those were probably the personal highlights for maybe what would be most people. But me personally, Steven, I will say this. I didn't watch that State of Play live, so I was watching it after the fact. From the moment I got home, I was like, ooh, a State of Play. Maybe there's some good stuff up in here. I saw Cerro, so I was like, that ain't it. And then for that point onward, because I know there were some other games in here that were cool, like a Final Fantasy Tactics, but I'm already sold on the game. I know I'm going to get the game. I kept hitting skip. I kept hitting fast forward. I skipped fast forward after watching like the first little bit of whatever the game that they were about to show and talk about constantly. Skip fast forward, skip fast forward. Saw Final Fantasy Tactics. I was like, all right, I'm already sold. Go ahead and move on to the next thing. Skip fast forward, skip fast forward. Oh, God of War controller. All right, yeah, that looks kind of cool. Skip fast forward and skip fast forward. Oh, speakers. I was like, whatever. Skip fast forward, skip fast forward. All the way to the very last announcement of the State of Play. And I was like, dang, what the heck did I watch between point A to almost all the way to point D? That was horrendous. I was like, normally in most State of Plays, I catch at least 2 or 3 good games that either look entertaining or ones I actually would pick up. But this one was, oh gosh, it was awful until the very end.
I don't know. It's just very. It was not as good. This State of Play was not as good as the last one they did.
No, by far. Gosh, dang.
That last one was probably one of the better State of Plays, honestly.
Yeah, it really was. So yeah, so it literally sucked for pretty much the whole entire event. And then we got down to the very last thing. The very last thing, and they finally showed off this trailer. And they didn't dilly-dally showing this trailer off whatsoever, because we saw Logan's face there, and at that point I was like, thank goodness Insomniac Games, you came and bailed out Sony bad, because this was going to be arguably one of their worst ever State of Plays in the history of State of Plays. And Insomniac Games, they showed up, they showed out, and they showed up big. Honestly, I was kind of worried about, like, dang, I was like, I knew it was taking them a while to make this Wolverine game, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Steven, but didn't they show off that little tease at Logan at the bar way back when? I want to say almost 3 whole years ago. It was like maybe right before we were about to have Spider-Man 2 come out.
I swear 2021, but I'm looking this up.
Yeah, we just got to see when that first teaser popped up, though. But it's been a good old hot minute.
Okay, so... Damn it. I'm trying to find it.
But yeah, while he's trying to find that, though, I mean, this dude was going ham on everything. Now, I know Wolverine's a very violent mutant at heart, And yes, he does have a little bit of a soft side from time to time, though. Obviously, the dude can take several different beatings. In case you hadn't seen that latest Wolverine Deadpool movie and stuff from the MCU,
Zard.
but ooh,
It was announced 4 years ago.
4 whole years. Holy shoot!
Yeah, no, it was
Wait, so you mean to tell me
wild.
that game was announced in 2021?
Yes.
What month of 2020?
September. 4
September?
years. Yes.
That was 2 whole years before even Spider-Man 2 came out. Gosh.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Either way, though, I have thoughts. I like how it looks. I'm surprisingly digging this. Like, there was some footage of it leaked online. I don't know if you've seen any of it.
Oh yeah, with the
December
Insomniac leaks
2023.
and all of that. Yeah, I saw some of that. Some of the concept arts was. I was kind of really curious about it though. But
Yeah, it seemed like okay, but I wasn't really interested. But now that we've seen it, like it's really going all in on the violence, which is what you gotta do. It looks really interesting. I'm glad that they're doing more of the violence. He's like stabbing people right in their goddamn face, and he's cutting off limbs. And apparently they had to make new blood effects for this game. Ooh boy.
yeah.
Like this, I'm very interested by that. I think that's really cool that like they're leaning all into the violence because that's kind of what you have to do. Like I don't know, how are you gonna do a guy with a damn metal claws that slashes people without any violence or blood?
And honestly, I was expecting a little bit of blood, and I think this is like it might have been one of Insomniac's first M-rated games, or maybe more recent M-rated game, or whatever. Though I expected some violence, though, but I wasn't expecting them to do this whole entire brand new blood effect thing, where it's like you're just seeing it just pouring out. I was like, "Oh shoot!" I wasn't fully expecting that.
And it's a very nice looking demo that they showed, like nice looking visual showcase. My problem with this game, Zard, is that I don't actually know what the goddamn gameplay looks like. I swear, like it's really hard to tell what's gameplay and what's a damn cutscene or scripted sequence.
That is true, because as I'm looking at this little replay of the trailer that's going on right now, I got up in the little TV. I think pretty much that whole trailer was CGI. Not much of it was actually like the physical gameplay, or it's kind of like in Spider-Man 2, like how you would hit like triangle and circle at the same time, which that causes like a certain, scene to kind of play out for Spider-Man doing. I bet you there was like a few of those sprinkled up in here, but the way how they jump back and forth between that and cutscenes and stuff, it is kind of tricky to kind of be able to fully tell.
Yeah, I'm looking at some leaked gameplay. It looks like it's gonna be a little bit more interesting. Like it looks like it's kind of be like an evolution of like Spider-Man's combat.
Which honestly, we needed to have at least enough differentiating factors between this and Spider-Man, because both games are probably gonna be really great. You just didn't want to obviously have one that plays too similar to a whole, as a currently already available series out for PlayStation. So you need to have some kind of fine divide between these Spider-Man games and what will be Wolverine or any other future X-Men games that Insomniac might be going through and stylizing and doing, though. But it does look like it'll be a major upgrade in comparison to what we kind of experienced already with Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 respectively, though. So I am thoroughly looking forward to this game, and we don't have to wait too much longer, but just a little bit longer, Steven, because it comes out fall of 2026. So I think that kind of shapes up the couple of games we're going to get from PlayStation Studios for next year. It's going to be this that comes out in fall, so basically a whole year after Ghost of Yote comes out. So I'm still eating good between Ghost of Yote this year and what would be Wolverine next year. But then also you have Ceros, which I think did they give us a release date for that game, Steven?
2026 for Ceros.
Okay, so not like an actual month, but we have a window frame for Wolverine. So I want to say with Ceros, they probably going to try to hit that a little earlier in the year versus Wolverine. That's going to be like what would be probably they're closer to a holiday game-ish for at least that season, though. But yeah, honestly, I really like the stuff I saw within that Wolverine trailer. I'm hyped and through the moon that finally I get a new Insomniac game, because it's been. Well, by the time we get our hands on this game, it'll be 3 whole years So 2 off years that we didn't have anything from Insomniac the show.
I think it's crazy. I just looked it up. Apparently, a fucking playable demo of the game got leaked on the internet. Like you could just download it and play like a leaked test build.
No, yeah, that did happen back with the whole Insomniac leaking stuff. They try to, clean that mess up as good as possible, but yeah,
like,
that is floating around there.
So there are people out there that have like played it and this and that. Either way though, like I didn't really hear anything bad about it. Like some of that casting was just weird. But I don't know. From what I've seen, it kind of looks interesting so far. There's some obscure villains in this. You have Mystique in there. She looks nice. The Sentinel, which is like the key art they showed at the end of the trailer, looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna see what else is in the game. I'm excited though, because it just looks very satisfying with the violence, which is kind of why you're playing a Wolverine game. Like you want the violence, and you also have Wolverine, who's a very complex character in of himself.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all we got to say on this trailer right now. At least now we have like a somewhat decent idea or a decent picture in terms of like what we can kind of expect for everything associated with PlayStation for what will be the year of 2026 though. Let's just hope and cross our fingers that Wolverine ain't gonna cost no $80 though. That's all I gotta say though. But anyway though, I think that's gonna basically do it in terms of everything that we wanted to say up on Wolverine right here though. So overall, good trailer. State of play sucked. I'm giving it a flat out D minus. Well, no, no, take the D minus back. Insomniac was there. D plus. That's all you're getting though.
Okay, I'm giving it a C because of Insomniac being there and saving it, and also Sonic Racing.
Okay.
That's the highest it's getting.
It was gonna get an F, but the F got rose up to a D because of Insomniac. That's the way how I looked at it. But the fact you said it's C, like what were you gonna say before even Insomniac showed up at the end? You were saying it was gonna get a D?
Yeah, D.
Okay. Alrighty, well, that's gonna do it for the Wolverine stuff, and that's gonna wrap up basically the PlayStation's segment of the show. So the rest of the topics are all gonna be centered around Nintendo, because Steven, we got some news right here, at least for the North American side of things, though, because apparently good old Doug Bowser, he's gonna be no longer for NOA for us. They literally pulled out the Salon Gay Bowser on him because he's actually going to be retiring at the end of the year. So effectively moving into like January 1st of 2026, they're going to have a whole new person over there taking over his spot though. And to be honest, looking back at this now, it really didn't feel like we had Doug Bowser in this spot that basically replaced Reggie when he retired. For not a really long time at all, to be honest, though. Like, it felt like I just blinked and here we are. And now we're about to get rid of Doug, though. The new person that they're about to replace it with is, oh gosh, I might butcher this name. Devon or Devon? Oh gosh, dang. Pritchard,
I think.
Pritchard.
Yeah.
We're just going to say Miss Pritchard for now. Currently the executive vice president of revenue, marketing, and consumer experience will now become the president of NOA effective January 1st, 2026.
Now, people are acting like this is going to change a lot. The president, the president of specifically Nintendo of America is not really going to change a lot. It's like, it's not, I don't know, like maybe something, I don't know, maybe something with translation with games would be different. Who really knows if this is going to affect much at all? She's been working at the company for a while, like, I'm sure, like, she understands, like, the company and, like, what has to be done for the company and this and that. Doug Bowser, yeah, like, didn't really do much. And, I don't know, Reggie definitely did, like, he did do stuff. But, like, I don't know. At the end of the day, he was with Nintendo during the entire Wii U and 3DS era. And, like, that wasn't really the best time. It's not like the president of Nintendo of America is really going to decide whether or not Nintendo is in a good state. The only thing that could possibly happen is that like the price could either stay where it is or the price might go down.
Yeah,
Hopefully, of something. Just because I'm sure, as the president of marketing or revenue or whatever it is, I'm sure she has at least some insight that people are not very happy about prices right now.
yeah, and I
And
think
it is an America thing. It's mostly an American thing. That's like Canada as well, but yeah.
tariffs. But yeah, no, mostly. To be honest, in terms of like the NOA, president, who was Reggie, who is Doug, and who's about to be with Pritchard. They have some say in terms of the way how stuff is handled, but their major voice of opinion doesn't really carry a whole bunch of weight unless you're like Reggie, who was buddy with a WATCHA and stuff like that. If you ever go back and read, Reggie's book that he managed to release out, though, a lot of great stuff from that Wii 3DS era and all of that stuff, though. I would say honestly, he's probably been the most influential one out of what would have been a president of NOA that actually got to affect other bigger choices that got to affect the Japanese audience, the European one, and all of that, based upon some of the stuff that he managed to do. Like, he was one of the reasons why we managed to get Wii Sports included in every copy of, every Wii that managed to sell like that. It was one of the reasons why he was an advocate of saying, hey, we're going to have to knock down this price of the 3DS because it's not selling right out strong out the gate, along with a few others that I won't say and, read the book for yourselves or whatever, though. But I think since then, we hadn't really seen an NOA president be able to make that strong, substantial pushes and stuff. Because, yes, at the end of the day, the American audience is still really important because it does make Nintendo the most money because we are the biggest market with the most amount of people that buy Nintendo products in comparison to the Japanese and the European market. So it's not necessarily anything to snuff at, though. But in terms of like the overall decision of what games are going to be coming out, how they're going to be doing them and stuff like that, that's mostly held up to, I think it's NCL, I think is the term for it or whatever. Basically, the people over there running the headquarters over there in Japan itself. That's where all of the super main important decisions are. But I did want to just report up on it. We're just going to have a little change in leadership, though. So, Doug, your reign hasn't been that long. We enjoy you for the time being. But I get all we can say is so long, Gay Bowser. All right. Anything else, Steven, you want to say on that?
There's a lot of people saying like heinous shit literally just because she's a woman.
Oh gosh, we're gonna bring this up, huh? Oh
Well,
man.
well, we're very briefly because like that's not even like a political thing. It quite literally is just depressing that people are still going on about like, oh my god, Nintendo's fucked. They got a woman in charge. Like, okay, she's been at the company longer than Doug Bowser.
Honestly, the people that always act like that, honestly, they need to have a heat check. They need to have a heat check, rain check, reality check, so whatever you want to call it. Because pretty much anything that a guy can basically do, the same thing can apply for whatever a woman can basically do. I mean, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's all about mainly the experience that you're able to bring to the table. Like what you said, Steven, she's literally been at the company longer than Doug Bowser has ever been. You have other here on the other side of the pond, not necessarily in the leadership potential thing, or I guess leadership in terms of like business per se or whatever though. But if you look at some of the games that are developed over there from a lot of these gaming studios over there in Japan and stuff, look at series such as Splatoon or series that are like Animal Crossing and stuff like that. You had some females on those teams that were leading the pack and making a lot of those heavy decisions and stuff like that for series like Animal Crossing or even series like Splatoon, which I love the heck out of my Splatoons. But I ain't gonna say, oh shoot, they got a woman leader in charge over a lot of these major important decisions. I ain't liking Splatoon. No, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's the works and stuff that you actually are able to produce that determines who you are, what you're able to do, accomplish, and basically produce. That's what is really going to matter at the end of the day. So you can't really look at the face. You can't look at the name. All you got to do is look at the actions. And that applies for anything in life, not necessarily stuff in gaming. Just take that to heart, y'all.
Yeah.
Whew. All right. With all of that said, wishing Doug Bowser the best in terms of his retirement. Now he could probably chill over there with Reggie and whatever though. And wishing the best of luck to the new NOA president. I'm literally going to call her by her last name because I don't know how that first name is pronounced over. Pritchard, best of luck whenever you start your new term at the start of the new year in January 1st of 2026. All right. Well, that's going to basically do it in terms of that topic, though. Let's talk about some NSO stuff over here, Steven, real quick, because it's been a while since we had our latest NSO drop. And I was thinking we were going to get a new GameCube game for the month of September. We never did, to be honest, which is kind of odd. I thought we were. Or wait, or did we get one? I'm trying to remember. Was it Chibi Robo was the last thing we got? Was that in September or was that August?
That was August.
Yeah, so we didn't get a GameCube game in September. I was thinking we were. But
we're getting Luigi's Mansion next month. Like, come on.
It has to be honest, though. I mean, if they don't do that, that'll be really odd and a really hard head scratcher, though. But
I thought Mario Sunshine was gonna be.
I thought that was gonna be this month, to be honest. But in its spot, we managed to get 2 GBA games: Mr. Driller 2 and Klonoa Empire of Dreams. And I don't really have a lot of experience with either one of these two games or series in general, though. I hear a lot of good things about Klonoa, though, but like I just never really messed around with it. Have you, Steven?
Say it again.
Oh, have you ever messed around with any one of these two series, the Mr. Driller series or Klonoa?
No, but I know people really like Klonoa, and Mr. Driller is also fun. I'm just more surprised of all games they decided to do these. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, because I felt like I had this conversation with you probably not too long ago, to be honest, though. But in terms of Game Boy Advance games, there's still a handful of games that they could probably still put out on the service. A good chunk of them are the Gen 3 Pokemon games, though.
Nightmare in Dreamland. I want a Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland.
But yeah, I mean, there's not too many more GBA games that they could put out, with the exception of some Pokemon games, to where then we're almost going to be in the same boat with GBA games, first party wise, should I say. That it's going to be very close to the same boat as like where we're at with the N64. Because the N64, we're only missing like a few games, like your a couple of rare games, like your Diddy Kong Racing or your Conker's Bad Fur Day, and Donkey Kong 64, and then obviously Super Smash Brothers. And I think those are like the last 4 major ones for N64. Game Boy Advance is getting close, but the Pokemon games is kind of holding it back. So it still kind of feels like there's a decent amount that we're still missing, though. But in terms of third parties, there's a lot of games out there for the GBA, though. So, I mean, they can still keep putting out stuff. Who's to say, though? But overall, not terrible drops. It's probably not drops that I would personally be interested in, to be honest, though. But I don't know. We'll see whatever new NSO games are coming up next. Anything else you want to say on that, Steven?
Not really. I think it's cool that they did these games, that they're doing more. They're doing more obscure games. Like, I have no problem with them doing stuff that's unexpected. I just, I kind of just want more of games that haven't been added yet that kind of feel weird, like omissions. Like, yeah, Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. We need to finally get the damn Pokemon games, because they literally put in all of this these bells and whistles. They literally put in a way to like do link cable stuff online, but we don't have the game that would benefit the most from it.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is absolutely true.
I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm. All right, well that's gonna do it in terms of those NSO drops for Klonoa. So we'll move over to the next topic because dang, Steven, this one literally hit me out of left field like, oh, freaking shoot. I was not expecting us to have a shadow drop, no pun intended, of a new mobile game released from Nintendo. It literally came out of left field. I literally was remembering this. I looked down at my phone, and I was at some event, and I was like, what? I was so confused. I was like, say what now? Yes, a game called Fire Emblem Shadows. I almost flipped my lid. I was like, what the heck? because we already have a mobile game on the market for Fire Emblem, that being Fire Emblem Heroes, a great game. You know, it does everything, has your whole entire history of Fire Emblem characters represented, everything from Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, all the way where we're currently up at in the game right now with Fire Emblem engaged characters. And it does everything pretty well. I mean, the game's still going strong, and it's probably one of the biggest money markets in terms of Nintendo gaining money from a mobile game. It being number one, I think Mario Kart Tour being number two. But yeah. And then to come out of nowhere and say, hey, we got another new mobile game. We didn't talk about this at all. We just shadow dropped it. And the game is literally called Fire Emblem Shadows. I was like, I see what you're doing over there, Nintendo. I think Intelligent Systems partner up with them on this one, along with one other company I can't quite remember unless I look at a trailer though. But I'm gonna start rolling this B-roll footage here. Yeah.
Their mobile company is DNA.
Yeah, DNA. That's the other one. Yeah. And I started looking at some of the trailers and stuff like that first opening cinematic, and I was like, oh gosh, this is kind of ambitious. I was like, you know what? I love this cutscene. It looks really good. I figured out that there was full English voice acting in a Nintendo mobile game. I was like, what the heck? Remember, Steven, way back when with mobile games such as like Dragalia Lost, they had full Japanese voice acting though, but never had English. Fire Emblem Heroes, you have, you know, bursts of stuff here and there though, but it's not like they're all fully talking English for the whole entire scripts and stuff like that. It's very hard and very rare that you ever see a mobile game that just have full-on English voice acting. Fire Emblem Shadows has it and more. I was extremely hyped through the roof just hearing and thinking about this mess. But then they caught me in the second half. They had me in the first half, I ain't gonna lie. Then you get down to the gameplay. And then I was like, oh no. If you ever have seen anything in terms of like some of these strategy games, I mean, most things are typically turn-based, which that's what we like as Fire Emblem veterans, turn-based RPGs where it's all about your tactics, where you want to place your units, how you're going to attack, and which way are you going to do it. That's where, you know, Fire Emblem thrives. And even though I didn't like Engage, the gameplay was still great. I just didn't like the story and the art style, but the gameplay still was great for that aspect alone. But with a game like this, heck no. I think there's like a new stylized way of a strategy game popping up where it's like it moves like an auto chess game, like where the pieces automatically move and you just kind of choose when to do like super special attacks. That's all this game is in terms of its gameplay. And I played it a handful of times trying to get myself to like it because I can't say much about the story because I can't get over the gameplay. The story might be great for all who knows. I kind of doubt it though, but it could be good. But I can't get over the fact of that because the gameplay just sucks. I just don't like the way how it plays. I mean, I know they're trying to be really experimental with this thing, and I get it. But I don't think that's Fire Emblem at the end of the day. I'm sorry, but... And this is coming from someone that owns every Fire Emblem game physically from Fire Emblem 7, which was the Blazing Blade on the GBA, physically, all the way where we're currently at right now with Engage, soon to be Fortune's Weave here next year. I'm sorry, but this ain't it.
Yeah, I heard that this game was shit. Honestly, I heard that a lot of people don't like it, and like there's the furry bait nonsense.
Which, I mean, technically, you do have characters in some of the Fire Emblem games. You can think about Awakening, Fates, even maybe a little bit with Three Houses, but mostly Awakening and Fates. You do have and Engage as well. You do have people that are kind of like beast creatures where they go like full wolf or whatever though. Ain't nothing new necessarily to the Fire Emblem series though, but I feel like this one kind of went well over and beyond with some of those characters' designs though. I will say that.
They turned Lynn into a horse girl and they turned Dimitri into a fucking furry.
Yeah, so I don't know who came up with this idea and who wanted to really experiment around with this mess though. but like everything was almost there to where this could have been a really solid game. I think the whole key aspect about this thing is would it be in shadows, like you don't know who to trust or what not to trust. Like literally you'll go through, fight a match, try to beat everybody. Occasionally you might have a traitor in your midst, so you got to figure out who that traitor is, so that way you can predict and choose which one was the one that betrayed you. So that way you go with another advantage into the next battle that kind of gives you a leg up, or you'll be at a disadvantage if you don't pick the right person. But yes, it's stuff like that, or you get to be the traitor the one round, and then you got to slowly take out your own allies. So that way it gives you advantage in the second round where you could take out all of your quote unquote allies. It's a really weird system, to be honest. Though I don't know what they were thinking or contemplating though, and I don't know how to really do a monetization because I mean I was so sick of the gameplay. I mean I wanted to say as much as I could for the show, but gosh, I really thought I was gonna come in here with a different tune versus where I'm going in with it right now. But this just wasn't it. But Steven, you got anything else to say up on this mess though? Because for once, I'm gonna say skip this fire and we're moving on to the next one. It's so weird because we went from a high with 3 houses to like a pretty low with engage. Then we get Fortune's Weave, which is back to form, thank goodness. So I'll back up on another high. But then you get hit with a weird old mobile game like this that doesn't do anything to, you know, quell any fears or the way how the Fire Emblem series is going. Now we're back down again. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, I have nothing to say about that.
Oh man, I don't know. Nintendo. Sometimes I just don't understand you. Sometimes I honestly just don't understand you. All right, well that's gonna basically be it in terms of my talks for Fire Emblem Shadows, and that's gonna lead us into the final topic of the night, that being Mario Kart World and its update, because it did manage to have a big old update. Was it the update that everybody was hoping and dreaming for? In some ways, maybe yes, but in a lot of ways, maybe not necessarily so though. But yeah, I'm trying to pull up all these patch notes here, Steven, because there was a good amount of stuff they managed to go up in here and change.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm getting tired, so I'm just gonna quickly know. I'm gonna say all the important stuff. Okay.
All right, let's roll.
All right. They made Peach medallions and Peach switches show up on the map, and you can teleport to whichever one you want, which is relatively useful. It should have already been in the game by default, but fine. You know, they made lap type courses even more frequent, which you can still there's still a chance you're not even gonna find a single one. But like, I don't know, at least for online it's slightly better. I still think a better solution would just be making a whole mode entirely for 3-lap courses. Because like, I don't know, those intermissions, they're not really the most fun to play. And it kind of it kind of made the online's longevity a lot shorter. The big thing, which might get me to play the game again, is that you can now join friends in Knockout Tour online. Took them long enough.
Honestly, I'm like, I don't know what made them think that they couldn't do this much earlier than when they finally implemented that mess right now.
Yeah, and then this is all stuff that should have been in the main game. Case in point, the last big update. Okay, the last big update was the UFO now appears in free roam more, which you might not have even known. There's a UFO that can randomly appear in free roam, and you can abduct stuff with it.
Oh yeah, no, I remember seeing that, but I've really never been able to mess around with it because I didn't see it.
They added something which is going to make unlocking characters a lot easier for people. You can now pick up the UFO and then go abduct a certain enemy, and you will unlock that enemy.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Holy shoot!
I can go pick up a UFO. I can go abduct a Cataquack, and I can finally unlock Cataquack after 75 hours in the game.
Gosh, yeah, because there's a handful of enemy characters I want to actually unlock, and it was so annoying to have to randomly rely on Kamek
I know.
to be able to unlock them. So now that I know about that, Steven, now I know I need to go ahead and boot up Mario Kart World and unlock those last final characters, and now I can finally be done with this mess.
Yeah, it's just kind of annoying, honestly. That all of this stuff should have just been in the goddamn game.
Yeah, because I was looking at my notes for all of the stuff they were changing, and I guess I never ran across the one with the. I saw the UFOs being easier to do in free roam, but I didn't really see the little option where, or not the option, but the patch notice saying when you do that with the UFO, it automatically unlocks the character.
Yeah, no, then it does. Yeah, and then you can now choose who you want to watch when spectating. Fucking finally.
Yeah, and it's
You
weird
couldn't
because
you couldn't
that was a
select.
thing since Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe. I don't understand why that hadn't been a thing, and it was always on first place.
My God. It's just this update is all stuff that should have just been in the game. I don't know how it feels. How the hell does this game feel rushed when it's been so long since the last Mario Kart? Like, how
Yeah,
the hell did this game possibly feel rushed? I'm kind of I can't believe Nintendo, honestly.
and you said the thing about the P switches and the medallions, like you can see those, right? I think you
Yeah,
did.
you can now see them on the map.
That right
Jesus.
there, that was wild that they didn't do that, because I'm like, dog, even if you wanted to follow a guide just to try to 100% that without knowing exactly where you've been and where you did. I mean, yes, you can hover over a character and to kind of show roughly in this general vicinity how many question marks you might have had in general, but I mean, without knowing exactly which ones you actually hit on the map, it's a wild goose chase. Especially with them P switches. There's like what? Close to like a couple of few hundred up in the game. I'm like, oh gosh. And then apparently you can do like 2 players now in the free roam instead of just only doing one. So that's pretty cool though too.
Yeah,
Outside of that,
it's just bullshit. It's nothing. It's I don't know. It's sad, honestly. No DLC confirmed yet. No nothing. They're not actually making any substantial changes. We still don't have a tournaments mode. I
yeah,
don't know, man.
nothing super substantial, but some stuff that kind of all needed to be there since day one. Like this should have been like that day technically should have, but not really shouldn't have been. But whatever. Is that this is essentially like that day one patch that we kind of were all looking at each other like, oh, I feel like all of these should have been there, but hey, better late than never, I guess. No real good excuse for it though, but I'm just glad it's all here because now I can finally unlock the rest of those characters in this gosh dang game. And you said that those UFOs show up a whole lot easier, right?
Say it again.
Oh, I say you said that those UFOs show up a whole lot easier in this thing now, right?
Yes.
Hmm. All
Well,
right.
like I think they're in a. You can find them at a guaranteed spot somewhere close to Mario Circuit.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess outside of that, that's pretty much all we wanted to talk about in terms of Mario Kart World, unless Steven you had anything else.
That's all, honestly.
All righty then. Well, that's going to basically do it in terms of everything I wanted to talk about and discuss within my big ZardCast episode 112. A lot of stuff we managed to go through and talk about. Thanks for bearing in with us as Steven was managing to come back from that wild old party and stuff like that. But held the fort down just for a little bit until he managed to get here though, and the rest was history though. But yeah, some good stuff. We know we got a lot of great games coming for the rest of October. I know things is about to get wild. Our pockets are going to start screaming and aching in pain. But hey, it's what we do as gamers, man. It's just what we do, though. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. Steven, let the fine people know where they can find you at. Oh, and this outro is gonna be a little interesting for you now, huh?
You can find me on Twitter at Steven Jr. 1231. And I used to have a collab channel that I do with friends on YouTube called Spaghetti Disco, but to my knowledge, we're kind of like not uploading anymore. The videos are still there though; they're funny if you want to watch them.
Alrighty, so yeah, if you hadn't checked out that channel, you check it out for the content that they were able to do. Ain't got no news of whether or not anything else new will come out though, but just check out what they got already up on the thing though. But yeah, that's basically gonna do it in terms of this ZardCast episode 112 though. So if you really like this podcast episode, make sure you're gonna hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related. I feel like talking about and discussing though. And if you're one of those people that wants to really want to go through and watch the show via like the audio only formats, you can find me on Podbean, YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Yes, you can listen to me in the car. Any one of those different podcast viewing websites that is your personal pick, I got you all covered on any one of those various different podcast audio formats. But yeah, that's basically going to do it towards my ZardCast episode 112 though. So remember y'all, until our video I make next, until my next ZardCast episode, that being my episode 113, I'll see y'all later.